But we have a kind of broader footprint because there's just more to cover in terms of international ops, and it ends up being an extra couple weeks or 3 weeks. And some people say that it's really hard training, and I can see it because if you haven't flown abroad before, then you get used to all these terms. You like learning a new language, you're learning a new airplane. It's huge. You know, you're sitting on the third story, basically, is your perspective. If you could imagine an apartment building that's a block long and a block wide and driving it down the street, that's what it looks like from the third floor of the balcony.
Insane.
And then it is awesome because you go up the stairs and then you turn and go up some more stairs to get in the plane. And then you go up more stairs and then you're on the flight deck. And then you walk a few meters, and then you're in the cockpit.
Up and up and up.
You just keep going.
You were telling me the other day, like taxiing that thing is an incredible feeling.
Taxiing the 747 is unlike any experience in aviation so far for me.
Wow.
Every plane, when you're in the air, they fly how they fly.
Right.
But jets are jets, swept-wing jets are swept-wing jets. They'd be more or less responsive at 300 knots. You know, they have different performance figures, but in terms of how you feel holding it, you can still turn. They turn the same way. They might feel a little heavy or a little light or a little loose, a little tight, but that's as much in the rigging as the airplane.
Right.
So on the ground, that is a specifically different experience from every airplane to every other airplane. Most of them ride low, and some of them are sort of extra nose low. So you'd see over you'll see over the flight deck anyway, but the nose wheel is lower than the mains, and you sort of look pitched down. If you've ever seen, especially aircraft with tail-mounted engines look pitched down. It's a weight and balance thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they sort of drive around nose low.
Looking at the floor.
Yeah, they kind of approach low, looking like a lawn dart, as it were.
But not a 747.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
You be in taxiing a CRJ is its own problem because you're in a sea of lights, and the lights are basically eye level. So it's very difficult.
Right.
But you're in the 747, everything looks just like the airport diagram, looking straight down on it. And then you see this tiny little airplane over there, and you're crossing and it's a few hundred yards away or something. Oh, look at that tiny little thing. It looks like an Embraer 175, doesn't it? And you get closer, and it's a 767. Dude. It's a heavy aircraft, and you can't mistake a 777 because of that squash tail, but
right.
And other reasons that the truck gear and everything.
I tell the 777s with the 3 wheels.
So there are ways to tell the 777 apart in the distance, but
yeah.
In the distance you might see a 7.6 or a 7.3, but if you're a 747 looking down on all that, it's just another little plane.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's fun. That's a fun ego boost.
Right.
But you have to stay real tight on your
turns.
On your head, you want to be heads up, let's say, because on your turns, even on your straight, you can't really wander off the center line.
Because your wings will hit something.
You might, your engines are already over the grass potentially.
And your mains take up a huge portion of the taxiway.
Yeah, and your mains are meters and meters apart, maybe taking up the entire taxiway.
Whoa.
Exactly. So you could be, for example, making an S-turn, and this would be like the most exciting part of your day. You're like making an S-turn on taxiways, are you kidding? Turn right, turn left, you're done. Not so simple. You got to plan that just right. If you take the first one too sharp or not sharp enough, then you have. And by the way, terrain matters. So if you're kind of up a hill or down a hill, you have to plan accordingly. And those engines take a while to get the juice required. And if you have to add extra, now you're blowing people away behind you. So you have to coordinate this thing just right. When you're in a CRJ, ERJ, even 737, you could kind of stall out during your turn. It's like, yeah, whatever, just kind of uncock the nose a little bit and add a little juice. We'll be all right.
Right.
You cannot do that in a 747. You might slide off the end or push someone behind you, flip someone behind you.
You really have to be on your
get
toes.
it just right. Yeah. You got to get it just right. And that is a pretty satisfying thing to do. I love taxiing a 747. In the snow and the ice and whatever.
So you like flying to Chicago, long taxi.
Yeah, I do actually. I asked for the legs of the longer taxi, if I can get them.
Chicago,
Shanghai, Chicago, Dallas, depending, yeah.
Big airports.
Yeah, big airports with a lot of ground to cover because, look, I got a bazillion landings. I got loads of pilot and command time on Boeing jets or other jets. So it's just fine. It's fun. And I like landing as much as the next guy probably, but I like taxiing more than anybody, I think. I just love
so
it.
Taxiing a 747.
That's the pinnacle of my airline experience, I'm afraid
That's
to
so
tell
funny.
you.
That's
It's
so funny.
Heaps of fun. I mean, look, is it as satisfying as nailing a circling approach in bad weather in, East bejesus Tokyo, or let's say like Takamatsu or Miyazaki or something? Yeah, okay, no. It's not that hairy, but
Right.
it is just as precise, and it's a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.